the defense to be able to play that the way that they played today with, I think we all know the stats, to hold somebody to, negative passing was great. Starts off with the very first play. And for that to happen, and then for the offense to score, I thought early on complimentary football, you get the two takeaways and 2 touchdowns, that's 14-0. But the turnovers really jumped out. 1 of 11 on 3rd down, and then 0 for 1 on 4th down, holding them to 3 points. Special teams making the plays when they need to, and then offensively being able to, again, early on score touchdowns and then do enough. In the end, the part that I thought was good was the defense being able to, special teams getting them backed up, the defense creating a safety, offense going down and sealing 3 points at the end of the half. That's stuff that you work on, and the guys executed it. And so that part was really good. Personally, for Robert to be able to get the sack record was neat. He hasn't and doesn't talk about it very often. That's who he is. But to see him get it was cool. To have 100.5 sacks in his career, that's a lot of sacks. And not to overshadow Travis Gibson, who I think, having 2 sacks and starting the game the way he did, sometimes that can happen. But that defense just really balled out. They played hard. And again, the effort from these guys is what really jumps out to me, and that we appreciate that. So, other than that, I'll go ahead and open up to questions y'all might have. Yeah.
Robert's personality, the decision that you made to take a timeout to just let him ask him that, just your thought process on that moment.
Yeah, it just kind of happened naturally and organically that when it happened, how it happened, it just was natural for me to do that. Obviously, being in a position where you can do that, where using a timeout in that position doesn't hurt your team. So it just pays respect from all of us as coaches and players to him, how much we appreciate. I think what's cool and what's important for these young players that are on this team to see somebody at his age practice the way he practices. You guys get to see Sunday. You get to see the starter practice and individual drills. No one in this room other than myself gets to see Robert Quinn practice every day the way he plays. And what a great person to see, to look up to and see, if you practice like this is what can happen, especially after coming off of last year, right? Resilient. He's been through a lot in his life, and to get to this point right now, he'd be the last person to tell you that he wants any attention, but he deserves it.
Did you think he had it on the play where
I did?
Shoveled it?
Yeah.
And when did you see right away? Oh my God, they didn't blow it dead, or?
No, I knew right away. It was a good call by the refs. They made a good call. It was quick, and Glennon made a nice play.
When you saw that the first play of the game for the defense, did you think this was going to be a pretty good day?
Yeah, well, they went an empty first play. They opened it up. So, and then for that to happen, for us to get that, we've been talking about turnovers for a long time, and sometimes it's like you talk about it, and they don't come, and now to be able to get that to first play, it got the whole team going. It got and we got Big Tonga in there, freaking rolling right down the middle, just like a bowling ball. So he was that was fun to see.
You guys haven't had a lot of easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment at all in the second half or the fourth quarter to kind of look around and appreciate it. I mean,
I did.
This could be your last game.
Yeah, I just thought that for these guys, I appreciate it for the players to be able to have this, because they deserve it, and it's nice. I mean, whether you're winning or losing or it's a close game, we talked about like our next opponent with Minnesota. You got so many close games, it comes down to the last play. It's nice to have one where you're able to be in control from the first play to the last play, and so being where we've been through this year. Again, the one thing that I'm very impressed with and appreciate from the players and coaches is the effort and the care.
Matt, if this is your last game coaching here at Soldier Field, how will you remember this place?
Well, again, for me, I take it day by day. If it goes that way, then it's meant to be, and at the same point in time, I'm so stuck in today's game and the feeling that I have that I don't even have time to really. I haven't thought about that. Maybe I will down the road if that was to happen. If not, I'm just going to do exactly what I've been doing all year long, and that's prepping for Minnesota.
And when you scored with like a minute left to go in the first half, and you're getting the ball back to start the second half, but that sequence to 5 points out, I'm just curious, kind of your thought process. process on being able to maximize that.
Well, yeah, we had some timeouts left. The defense kept making them get negative yards. We used our timeouts. We stopped the clock. We got to safety. And now we wanted to go down and try to steal 3 points. We did that. We ran out of timeouts. We knew that we were going to, if we had a completion, like we got one to A-Rob, that we'd, clock it and kick a field goal and not be out of control. And we did that. They executed it. On top of that, our best drive of the game on offense was the first drive of the third quarter. We went 11 plays, 75 yards, five-plus minutes, and got a touchdown. So we really stole 12 points coming out. So that right there is what we talked about on the side. I thought Bill Lazor did a great job there. That drive just really, we came in at halftime, made some adjustments, and I thought he did a great job getting the guys in rhythm.
What went into the decisions for your starting offensive tackle?
Yeah. Well, again, a few things. All these guys, whether they're coming off an injury, coming back from an injury, you start on the left side with Jason. Jason's been our starter this entire year. This is a Hall of Fame player that's been playing a long time, and he battled his ass off to get back here and play. And he did a great job, and we weren't sure how that was going to go. Tevin, same thing, coming, working through an injury from last week's game. And so, that's the decision that we made. And it's been, like I've said from the beginning, like we're going to do everything that we need to do, that what's best for this team right now. And, that's what we did. And then in regards to Larry and Ifedi, I go back to with Larry coming off of COVID a few weeks ago and trying to get back into shape. We weren't sure where he was going to be last week. He was forced into action early, and we thought he did a good job. So we go into this week thinking, again, he played well when he was in. And so, we went with him for this week. So the guys have handled it great. The communication's been great. I appreciate that from them. And again, we were able to get Tevin in the fourth quarter there too. So we're trying to kind of balance that, but at the same point in time, work that dynamic of all those guys.
What's the coaching point on David Montgomery?
Oh, gosh. So that's been in the incubator for a few weeks, that play, practicing it. And he's in there now. He was just talking through, the guys are razzing him, all the running backs, and Cole came over. He was razzing them. That's one of those plays that, again, it can be really good or it can be really bad. It happened to be really bad, but again, in that situation, when it hits, it's fun, So it didn't. He'll learn from it, and maybe he might dream about it tonight, but he'll forget it. I said, don't let that affect your next play, so he'll be good with that.
Coach, you guys open up the game. Doc Dow's up a blitz on the first play of the game. Defensively, offensively, you guys go for it 3 times on 4th down. Is this aggressive nature kind of just a byproduct of where you are in the standings right now? Is that something philosophically you may do going forward?
Yeah, it's philosophically you want to always do that. Now there's certain situations based off the teams you're playing, and how that goes, field position certainly. But I think that we've had that mentality. There's been times where we've been more conservative this year than what we've been for whatever reasons this year or even today. But it's just sometimes it's a feel with where you're at, how you're playing on defense. How you're playing on offense, and when it works, it's great, and when it doesn't, it's usually not a good call.
Can you speak on Darnell Mooney's development this season into a reliable target? He had another good game today. He's really had a connection with every quarterback that's been in the game.
Yeah, well, he's just consistent with who he is. Getting him in the 5th round and him developing into the player he is, this kid is going to be a special wide receiver in this league for a super long time. His care factor is off the charts. He's learning every day. He's one of those guys after practice, getting jugs every day, running routes every day, and working with the quarterbacks every day. That's just naturally what happens when you do that stuff. That's a pretty cool thing, and that's not going to stop with him because he's rare.
Matt, how is Robinson? Does he seem full strength, full speed?
Yeah. No, I was curious about that going into it. I think he's pretty good. I didn't talk to him yet about that after the game, but he seemed good. I was trying to keep an eye on him coming in and out. There were some times where he probably would have been in on certain plays here or there early on as we get through his wind and where he's at. But I thought he did well.
Did you have a reason to think that based on practices that maybe he wasn't quite?
No, we were trying to keep an eye on it early on with where he was because some of these guys get a little bit more winded than others. But I thought he did a pretty good job all week in practice.
What about Hicks?
Yeah, what about him?
Same way in terms
Yeah, same thing. These guys, it's different. It's one thing to come out when you're away for a while to come back and practice. It's another thing when the game reps hit, So I'll go back and watch all the tape and see exactly where they're at. But we were keeping an eye on all those guys.
Man, a lot of teams that struggle, they check out this time of the season. You were confident that your guys would stick together.
What does it mean that you're able to, celebrate with your guys in the locker room and you get this kind of effort that you have the last couple of weeks?
Again, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our coaches. I know it means a lot to the players. It just, I think it speaks to who our locker room is, because you're right. You get to this point, it's a long season, a lot of stuff happens, but these guys, they deserve to be credited for their ability to fight through some tough times and care, and to come out and play with this effort like they have been doing. This isn't something that's just kicked on the last couple of weeks. They've been playing with this effort all year. We've played some pretty good teams, and we've put ourselves in position to win, and in the end, we didn't win those games. And so, you could get to a point where you don't see the effort, but that's just not going to happen here as long, as I'm around helping these guys and coaching and those coaches in there. That's not going to happen. These guys just play. These players, they care.
What if the last 2 weeks?
Effort by the,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
how would you describe the effort made by the secondary and the performance they did today?
It was great. So the D line was able to tip some footballs. The secondary made the play. We talk about make the play when you get a chance to make the play. They made the play today. I was joking with Tayshawn Gibson. He made an unbelievable one-handed catch in practice the other day, and it was spectacular. And I think he made this pick today because of that practice rep. I told him I was messing with him, but those guys are playing hard, and when that happens, they become contagious. So that was good.
What have the last 2 weeks? What have the last 2 weeks been like for you specifically to have the comeback in Seattle and then the start to finish runaway win today?
Again, it's been expected. It's been expected. I think that every day when you're in install meetings with these players, every day when you're out at practice, as long as you don't change. See, because they see when things don't go well, if you lose some games or if you win some games, you get too high, you think you're too good. They see the change. We just don't do that. And so the expectations of coming out and practicing and having to gauge and calibrating where the players are at mentally, physically, taking care of them in practice when you have to, I think they appreciate that. And then on game day, they're rewarded by playing hard and getting wins. So this is, we're guaranteed one more week against a division opponent, and throw the records out. It doesn't matter. These guys are going to come back and do the same thing.
Travis Gibson, a guy who went from a healthy scratch earlier in the season to now 2 strip sacks. Can you talk about his growth this season, and also have you seen guys like Quinn, Matt, helping him along?
Yeah.
That helped him get to this point?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. The thing with Travis is Travis came in as a rookie, and the person, the high character, the guy, the position he played in college, coming in here trying to find a niche. He is another guy that practices super hard. And so now he's being rewarded by getting production. Coach Shuey our outside linebacker coach, has done an amazing job of coaching these guys. And I appreciate that about these coaches. And then you got older guys, Khalil and Robert, that have played in this league for a while, that have a lot of experience that can help out young guys like him. And so a guy like Travis, when he watches Khalil and Robert practice the way they practice, it's contagious. And so what happens is now you get out here in this game and you put it all together, and then the game will slow, like I always talk about with Justin, the game will slow down for them too. They'll notice a chip block coming from the running back or tight end. They see that stuff, and then they get better from it, and he's seeing that right now.
Thanks, guys.
All right.